Welcome everyone to the webinar. In today's webinar, we will talk about innovating green, investment opportunities where we explore the dynamic world of sustainable investments. Today, we are deep diving into the exciting realm of green innovation with Green Home CEO Mick Fabar to uncover the opportunities that not only drive financial returns, but also foster positive environmental change. Welcome, Mick. How are you?
Thank you, Angela. Pleasure to be here.
That's good. So, how's your day, Mick? You're in Australia right now. How does it feel to be on the other side of the world from the rest of us?
Uh, yeah, well, it's the usual start to my day. So I spend a lot of time in the US, and this is pretty much the usual start to my day. So I'm happy to be here and just share some information about what we're doing and what's happening in the green building space, what's happening in the housing sector in the US, across the US, what the next 10 years look like, and why investing in a green, sustainable, healthy home is important from a couple of angles. So happy to share my experience and my thoughts on that, and hopefully that helps our listeners and viewers make decisions moving forward.
Yeah, exciting information to come. So, first of all, Mick, what is Green Homes? As the CEO of Green Homes, what is Green Homes for you?
Well, for Green Homes as a company for us, it's a construction company, design and construction company. We've been building green, sustainable, healthy, environmentally friendly homes since 2006. We started in Australia. I'm Australian, obviously. We started in Australia in 2006, branched out to New Zealand a few years after that, in the early teens. We've got a very successful operation in New Zealand building sustainable green homes. And we launched in the US when an opportunity was presented to the company in 2019. So we've been over there for a while, building and understanding the whole building space, which I expected to be a little bit different to other parts of the world. I can tell our viewers that that's not the case. It's how people build a home, the journey that a consumer or investor goes on building a home in the US, exactly the same as what they do in Australia, exactly the same as what they do in New Zealand. And the process of designing and building a home is exactly the same in all of these countries. So our product found a very unique home in the US, being well received. To answer your question, what a green home is, a green home in my sense is a home that's energy efficient, sustainable, healthy, and also affordable. I think that's important. I think
Mhm.
I think there's a consensus out in the industry or the sector that building green or building sustainably or efficiently is expensive and it's difficult, and that's actually not the case. Might have been the case 50 years ago, but it's not the case today.
That's amazing, Mick. So with Green Homes, I know that I've read some of the stuff before really diving into Green Homes because the misconception back in the day, like even today, is that Green Homes is just like put a solar panel on your roof and done. It's green. But it's actually more than that, right?
100%. I think there's green homes, or efficient homes, is seen as a luxury product, and people associate luxury products with expense. It's actually not the case in this particular instance, but and to address your point is that there are some misconceptions that putting a solar panel on a home makes it a green home. Well, that's not the case. We need the home to be green and sustainable and healthy and efficient in its own right before we add renewable energy or smart technology or whatever that may be. So, the home has to be built to suit the environment. It has to be built to, maximize its footprint in a solar passive way, whatever environment it's in. And those things don't cost. They don't cost any more. It's just got to be planned correctly. So the right design's got to be picked for the right location. So, and then it's got to be built correctly, which should be what we do as builders in the industry, but that's not what we do. So that's not what the industry does. So, before we add renewable energy, solar panels and smart technology, all of that stuff, the home has to be green or efficient in its own envelope.
Gotta make. So we actually have people here. Let us check. There are 13 participants. Hi, everyone. Hi. So again,
Oh,
if you have any questions, guys, put it on the Q&A chat and not the chat that we have usually on Zoom, because it doesn't really work on that end. You have to put your questions on the Q&A. So you have any questions, just freely put that on there and I'll read it out for you, Mick. You don't have to worry about reading it for yourself. So I'll do that. So tell us your story, Mick. So why green homes in the first place? There's gotta be a story there somewhere.
Yeah, look, I'm a fully qualified master builder, and I ran a building company, my own building company, under my own name with my wife for about 10 years. And we were just building standard homes like most other builders. We hadn't even considered green, sustainable, energy efficient dwellings. We were just building homes that, same old process, most amount of square foot for the dollar that we could deliver, making sure that our quality was high. And where I was particularly operating, there was an influx of growth in that location, and we had a steady stream of clients every year. And then over a period of time in the early 2000s, a handful of national large volume builders came to the area that I was operating in and really just wiped all the independent builders out. They bought all the land and started building, homes that were, I don't think as good as what we were building from a quality perspective, but they were selling them hand over fist. And it occurred to me at that point that actually the dollar value wasn't, though in some cases are more expensive, but it was all about the emotional connection and how they did their marketing. Anyway, we decided to reinvent our business and focus on something that no one else was focusing on, and build some green homes. So we did a lot of research, and I did a lot of training, and worked out what a green home was, and what a sustainable home was, energy efficiency, and we headed off in that direction. We built a couple of homes, show homes or model homes as we call them, and opened them to the public. We put a family of 4 in one for 12 months to live normally, and we collected all the data. And right next door we had a show home, or a model home that we opened to the public. Our business boomed. We exceeded our initial goals of how many contracts we'd signed, and we were collating data from the people that live next door. And really, at the end of that process was that when we did the wash up of the cost per square foot to build those homes, they were no more expensive than what we were building when we were building a standard home. Other than the upgrades, obviously, stone bench tops and polished concrete floors and solar panels cost more money, but the actual home itself was, the data was clear at the end of the 12 months that we'd built homes that were 70% more efficient. So they reduced the energy load by 70% before we even added renewable energy. They were the same cost per square foot to build, and the air quality was enhanced greatly. There was a whole heap of data that we got from those two projects. Our business boomed. That we had no intention of doing anything more than trading where we were regionally and building as many homes as we could. The brand grew into a national brand. We won some national awards. Then it grew into a franchise. By 2012, we were right across Australia. By 2015, we launched in New Zealand, and we now got 37 territories in New Zealand on both islands, and building green homes right across New Zealand. And in 2019, we were contacted by a company in the US that wanted to, or 2017 actually, to secure the brand for the US. And I must admit that back then I said, I'll share all my knowledge and happy to tell you how to build green, and what solar passive means, and how to build correctly and design correctly, and dispel the myths of over expense and that sort of stuff. Just find someone over there that's doing it, and obviously a relationship was created, and we found that no one in America was doing anything like it. So on scale, no one had. There was a few independent builders focusing on green. They were expensive. I didn't believe that they were selling the right message. So we launched the brand in November 2019, just before COVID, in the US at the Green Build Expo in Atlanta. Interesting, the World Green Build Expo in Atlanta, 2019 November, 502 exhibitors at that expo, one builder, Green Homes. Everyone else was a product supplier or manufacturer or a designer. There was no builders at the Green Build Expo in 2019. It's pretty much the same now. So that's how the brand started. That's why we're in the US, and now we're building in various locations across the US. We're building green communities. We build energy neutral, carbon-free homes, which I can go into a bit more detail later. And I can talk about why that's important to anyone that's investing in property.
That's amazing, Mick, because not everyone really is like into green homes, and this is the time that they need to get into it just to protect the environment right now, right?
Yeah,
So,
sorry, Angel.
go
Yeah.
ahead, go ahead.
I think that there's a lot of misconceptions about what an energy efficient home is, and people need to understand what they're investing in or what they're building. And if you don't understand it, then people tend to not commit to it. I'm here today to tell you to help you understand what that means and why that's important, whether you're building your own home, investing in a home, why it's important to think about sustainability.
So one of the questions here is not really a question, but can you move closer, they said, because they're having a hard time hearing you a little
Sorry,
bit. Yeah. So
how's
yeah,
that?
I think that's better for me because I can hear you well, but I think that would be better for them. So another question, Mick. So uh, you told us earlier that you were Builder of the Year. That doesn't come really easy because it's not even in the Australia itself. It's like in the US. You're a Builder of the Year in the US. So that alone, and like what would give them the comfort and security and investing in green homes with you?
Yeah, look, we've been around. The Green Homes has been around a very long time. We're an internationally accredited company, so we're the only company in the world that is ISO 50001, which is the International Standards Organization, 50001 internationally accredited, which is for the design and construction of energy efficient homes. Yes, we won in 2013. We won Global Home of the Year and Global Builder of the Year. Look, we've won hundreds of energy efficient awards for our homes. We are the global leaders in energy efficient, sustainable homes, and I think that would help people. We didn't pop up yesterday. This is not a new idea. This is what we do for a living. I've been doing it for over 20 years now. I consider myself. It may sound egotistically, but I consider myself the global leader in energy efficient, sustainable homes, dwellings. That's all that we do. We don't build gas stations, we don't build restaurants, we don't build schools, we build homes, and we do them very, very well. So that's a little bit about our history there.
That's good. So one question from Jeff. I really love it, Jeff. You're just straight to the point. So, Jeff's question is, what is the investment opportunity, please? If you can be more forward with that, Mick.
Yeah, so we've
Let's
got
hear it.
thank you, Angel. Thank you, Jeff. We've got an investment fund. We're building across the US we're building green communities, so energy neutral, carbon free green communities. And we're also building model homes with model show homes with our franchisees, with our green builders. And the investment opportunity is that we've built a fully licensed fund to invest in those properties. When it comes to investment, if I can just focus on that for a minute, because that's why most of you are here. I'm not an investment tutor. I'm just here to share knowledge, and the knowledge is is that the industry at the moment is shifting. The codes and the expectations are shifting dramatically. If you're an investor and you're investing in property, some people do shares and some people do other types of investments. Property is a very sound investment. I quite like property, and 90% of investors invest in property. If you're investing in property, my advice is that you invest in a product that is above the benchmark at this point in time. So then it's above the benchmark in 10 years' time. So what's happening in America is that America's leading the world really in this decarbonisation program. There was a act passed, the Inflation Act in August 2022, which is this: the American government want to decarbonise the existing home stock in America. They've established that across the US, there's hundreds of millions of homes that are carbon emitting poor. They're carbon producers. They've got another 50 to 60, 70 years of life. So they introduced the act, which is, it does two things. It's pushing up the building code, and it's also incentivizing people to build new green homes, energy efficient green homes, and remodel existing homes. Now, if you're investing in property, my advice would be that if you're going to invest in property, usually it's a long-term, medium to long-term investment. So, 5 to 10 years, excluding the buy and flip type market, but usually property investments are a long-term process. If you're investing in property today, you want to be investing in a home or property that is above the benchmark today, and that is still above the benchmark or level with any benchmarks in 10 years' time. If you're investing in standard property that you might buy cheap today, it's going to be, the return's not going to be there in 10 years' time when you go to sell it, and that is a poor performing home. We know that green homes or sustainable homes, not just our homes, our branded homes, but green homes generally, they sell quicker, they produce a higher yield, they rent quicker, they achieve a high sale value. There's a mountain of data available from credible sources about how a green home performs. So that's from the financial side of it. Then the other side of it is that environmentally, it's the right thing to do. Having a green, sustainable, low carbon, energy neutral home is good for the community, good for the tenants, good for the environment, good for America. It's good for you. It's good for everyone. So I don't see any negatives in investing in a green home, especially when it's no more expensive to invest in energy sustainable green homes than it is to invest in a normal home, and the yield's so much better.
That's amazing, Mick. So, like you said, with the funds that you'll be receiving through this investment, you're going to build more green homes in order to rent it out, or
Yeah, so look, there's a couple of things. There's a housing shortage in America, a huge housing shortage. We're building green communities, so energy efficient green communities. So for example, in Atlanta, we're building 49 green homes that are energy neutral, carbon free. Those homes will be sold to a mixture of owner-occupiers and investors for rent, to rent out to people and tenants. And we'll invest in structures or communities like that, as well as building model homes across the US, display homes that show the benchmark of what can be done. And those homes will be rented back by the builder for a period of time, 3 years. So, and before they go on to then the rental market, or can be sold at the end of that 3-year time period. So we've got it's really a build and rent program. We've got people lined up that want to rent and occupy our homes. So we've got an opportunity for investors to invest in the fund. We're building homes, then they get rented out, the homes get managed, and then they get sold.
So with this information then, so how do these sustainable design principles influence the marketability or like the long-term value of green homes as investments?
Well, it's an interesting thing that the community, the consumers across the US are in their droves, in their abundance, looking for green, energy efficient, healthy homes. And that's 10x since COVID. So people looking to move to homes that are better designed, that are more healthy environments, that are energy sustainable and efficient. We were busy before COVID, but post-COVID, it's been absolutely crazy. So building those homes and making them available, fully accredited homes in select locations is really important. Now, some people are on the rental market, some people are in the buyer's market, some people are in the investment market. There's also a term called ESG, which is environmental sustainable governance funding, which is a lot of large companies are now using that model to gauge or drive their investment. So a lot of public fund and a lot of public funds, private equity companies are investing in using that model to invest in sustainable outcomes. So in homes that or buildings that are sustainable. It's very, very important moving forward that we tick that box. So when my message today is it doesn't cost any more money, you'll get better returns, better yields, better sale, quicker sales. All of those, it's a more secure investment, investing in a green home or a sustainable home. And research, a quick 10 minutes on the web will show you that those opportunities are scarce, but the consumers and the data is just in abundance supportive of that.
Got it, Mick. So, we have questions again on the Q&A about the numbers, specific numbers. I know like some stuff for it, but let's see. What's the minimum amount? Mick, can you answer that?
I think the minimum amount for the investment fund is $100,000.
Yeah, no maximum, right?
That's correct.
So the return and the tenor.
The return, we can get some information out to those people specific that want to know about the returns. We've got a whole ledger put together by a qualified group of people about the returns. They do exceed the standard property returns based on the data that is available. So we can send that out if they want to receive that.
Yeah, because if we're going to talk about returns, this is going to take a whole day for us
That's
to
right. Yeah,
talk about it
it's a
because
fairly lengthy conversation. Yeah.
because there's a lot of info about it and stuff. But if you do want to meet with Mick one-on-one, you can email him at mick@greenhomesbuilders.com. That's mick@greenhomesbuilders.com. So that is his email that you can reach out with. And then another question is, Mick, where are you building these homes? Do you have a specific place in the US that we're building these homes?
Currently, we're building in Atlanta, Fargo, and New York. We're just about to start building in Texas. We've got quite a few developers looking for us to build green communities within their developments. So the point of the fund is to pick locations that work quite well. So we've got a criteria of where we pick. As I said, we've got a lineup of opportunities to pick from. But talk about the one in Atlanta or Texas, for example. We pick locations where there is solid growth, close to, infrastructure, schools, and so forth. We've got quite a few developers that have got large lots, 1,000 lots, 500 lots that want to build green communities. For example, a 100-home green community where all those homes are energy neutral and carbon free. So there's quite a lot of opportunity. And once we secure our body of investors, or once we get the investors, the people that manage the fund will pick those locations on where is the best location to build those homes. As far as show homes go, or model homes, our plan is to build one in upstate New York at the moment, where we've got some lots available. We've got a lot available in Atlanta that we want to build a show home on. There's a lot in Texas that we want to build a show home on. Strategically, those locations are important because of the governance and what's happening with the industry codes. And we want to be able to showcase these energy neutral homes. And just to clear up what energy neutral and carbon free is, energy neutral means that the home will not have any energy bills for the occupant for the life of that home, as long as the occupant lives within the normal aspects of living. If they sleep with the lights on or have 4-hour hot showers and so forth, that's going to skew the energy use numbers. But compared to normal energy use for a normal home of that size, our homes will be energy neutral in their lifetime, and they'll be carbon free in operation, which means that if they're energy neutral, they're not emitting or producing any carbon. That's really, really important considering where we are now with the Carbon Act and the focus on decarbonisation of homes. It's really, really important that we're building homes that operate in this space moving forward. And today, investors might think that's a new thing. I can tell you it's not a new thing. We're just bringing it to the market, and we have been for 20 years in an affordable manner. It's not a new thing. It's just now the market wants it, and they want it yesterday. The government published a report by the OBC Collaborative and the DOE in January 2024. The executive summary stated that the government, a little bit unrealistic, I think, but they want to by 2030, they want to decarbonise, green remodel and decarbonise 30 million homes. And by 2030, they want to build 10 million new green homes. Well, I can tell you that's impossible because the builders just don't exist. But that's the sort of drive that we've got in the industry. So in the space, in the housing space and opportunity. I sit on an advisory group to the DOE, and I've been on that advisory group for about 18 months, and the commitment from the government and the building codes across the country are extensive, and 100% the code's changing. We've got all sorts of industry changes across the US pushing homes to be more sustainable and green. So the message today is if you're going to invest in property, or if you're even thinking about investing in property, you should be investing in green, sustainable, energy efficient homes.
So what is your strategic cost-effective approach then, Mick, on like building a national inventory of green homes in the US?
What is my strategic plan?
Yeah.
So we've registered we registered the brand early in the US back in the late teens. We followed the process. It's an interesting process. When we registered as we grew green homes globally, we grew under what is called a Madrid Protocol, which covers 181 countries. It doesn't cover the US, so we had to start again in the US. When we registered in the US, we went through the whole process of company registration, trademarking, licensing, training, accreditation, ISO approval, global approval, registration and members of the Green Building Council, the National Association of Home Builders, who I've got some great relationships with, and so forth, and build our product partner relationships. And then we set about registering the franchise opportunity, and we're growing now. We're growing the franchise. COVID slowed us down for a couple of years. We couldn't get our people to the US for 2 years. When it started, it was only going to be 6 months, as everyone knows, and it sort of took 2.5 years to get back on the ground there. So it slowed us down. We lost a few years there, but well and truly on the ground now and running.
So how can you, like with that information mix, so how can we guide these investors in making the choice to choose green? Like what are the opportunities associated with investing in green homes compared to like traditional real estate assets?
I can't speak for traditional real estate assets. I don't have I don't operate in that space. From a green homes perspective, we've got multiple opportunities for investors to invest in. Really, what the fund's a licensed vehicle that's been built and fully approved and accredited for investors to invest in, and then that fund will choose those locations and properties. Now, there's a criteria of where that fund capital is spent, and what the return is, and what the turnaround time is. And look, basically, it is buy the property, secure the tenant, and sell that property in a 7 to 10 year period timeframe. And the data that supports those returns is fairly extensive, and it's available to everyone. You can find it yourself. We can give it to you. I think the thing about green is that people haven't appreciated that it is tangible, and that it is available at an affordable price. People think that building green is expensive and difficult, and that's not the case. It's actually not even remotely close. It might have been in 1970, but it's not today.
So I know this is something quite out there, but is there any current trends, if the lack of a better term, and future projections in green homes, in the green
Well,
homes market, both nationally and globally, Mick?
I don't like the word trends, because trend implies that it's something that's hot today and not tomorrow. Green homes isn't a trend. We've got laws changing in America and globally to force people and builders and the industry to build sustainably. So we've got all sorts of laws and code changes, and we've got the American government putting billions of dollars of incentives available to consumers and people that are building or thinking about building sustainably and building green homes. It's really, really important. This isn't a trend. This is a whole change in the way the industry operates. The industry has not changed for 50, 60, 70 years. in effect, we're still building as an industry homes the way that we were building them in the 70s and the 60s, with no thought into energy efficiency, sustainability, solar passive design, window location. There's no thought that there's no training for builders that is part of their training to become a builder. There's no industry guidelines around that. That is all optional, or it was optional. What's happening right now is that the industry is being forced to adopt that thinking. And we're in the early stages of that adoption as it's being forced on the industry. So what's happening is that we've got the industry is being pushed outside its comfort zone. The builders that have been building for years are pushing back, saying, no, I just want to build the way I've always built, and I want to design the way I've always designed. And as long as the home is watertight and it's got it doesn't have any trip hazards, we're above the code. That's not the way the industry, the government, or the consumers want the industry. So what consumers want is they want obviously homes that are watertight and got no trip hazards, but they want energy efficient, comfortable, healthy living spaces. And as builders and designers, we have a responsibility, I believe, is my view, we have a responsibility to build homes that are energy efficient, sustainable and comfortable. We should be doing that for the environment, for the next generations, for the occupants of those homes. That's what we have an obligation to do that. And so we take that very, very seriously. And I'm repeating myself, this does not cost any more money per square foot to build. You just need to understand the process of the design and the right design for the right location. The other thing that I might point out is that people can think that a green home is a futuristic looking designed home. A green home can be a Georgian castle. A green home can be a country manor. A green home can be a traditional American cottage. It's things like orientation, window position, insulation, the leakage of air out from the living space out of the home, the overhang of the roof to protect it from the summer sun, making sure that the winter sun gets into the location, into the living environment if it's a cool climate, making sure that the appliances and all of the water faucets are energy efficient, and water efficient. That's available to everyone today. 30 years ago, you had to go and seek those products out. All the product manufacturers today are already on the sustainable pathway. They're already doing it. It's just about selecting the right products for the right location, in the right design, and putting it together correctly. We've got an audit process that all of our builders around the world follow to make sure that their homes are being built correctly. Having them being green on paper is one thing. Making sure that they are built to be green, sustainable and healthy and perform is another thing. We've got a whole audit process that every home goes through, a full certification process, global register for all of our properties. So look, I've probably covered a little bit of information. I don't want to confuse anyone. I'm talking a little bit fast there. I get a bit excited about this space.
No, we love your passion, Mick.
The
We love it.
industry is moving. The industry is being forced to move. If you're investing in property, whether you do it with us or do it with someone else or build it yourself, make sure it's energy efficient and sustainable, and you'll have a higher return on the back end. That's my message for today. It's pretty straightforward, really. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel here. We're not trying to do anything that's outside the box. This isn't a new startup. It's not a new idea. This is just it's 101, right? Pick the best product and invest in something that's going to give you high yield returns. Our issue today is we've got that much opportunity. We need capital to be able to build those homes. So that's why we built the partnered and built the fund, so we can get investors into those properties and build a sustainable property portfolio.
Yeah, not just really have high yields, right, Mick? Just to protect the environment in general, right? Just positive impact,
It's
really.
got to be something that's got to be something that plays into our investment strategies as humans. I think we have an obligation to do that, to provide better homes for our occupants or tenants to live in, to have a better footprint for the next generation. I think there's a degree of opportunity here where you can be proud of your investment, proud of what you're doing, and how your investment's performing from an environmental standpoint, not only a financial standpoint.
Got it. So one question here is accredited investors only. The answer is yes. That we're only looking for accredited investors. So that, and then another one is the email for Mick. No, because there's a missing S. So I'll send the email for Mick on the chat. You can send Mick an email if you want to talk more about the specific numbers, like all that pizzazz. Because again, if we talk about it here, it's going to be a long call. We only have an hour. So I will send it here. It's Mick at greenhomesbuilders.com. And if you want to book a meeting with him through a Calendly link, I can send it here as well. It would be that link for the Calendly. So again, Mick, so looking ahead then, what exciting new possibilities, or again, the word you hate, trend, um, do you see unfolding in the green home sector that investors could tap into? Again, not just for profit, not just for high yields, but to contribute meaningfully to a more sustainable future, not just for them, but for everyone else that will follow behind them, really.
Look, I think for us, it's about, I think not the new thing for us, but what I'm really passionate about is building green communities. So building pocket communities in locations where they're 20, 30, 40 homes that are energy neutral and carbon free. That sets a benchmark that is not currently being delivered in America. And that's something that everyone wants from a consumer standpoint, from government's standpoint, from industry standpoint, and from product partner standpoint. The only people that aren't doing that are the builders, right? The only people that are saying, no, no, that's too hard, it's too expensive, don't know enough about it. I just want to keep it. They're the stop point, right? I'm here to say we're not the stop point now. That's exactly what we believe in. So I think building energy efficient, carbon neutral, energy neutral, carbon free is the terms that we use, homes is really, really important, setting those benchmarks. I think setting those benchmarks and leading the industry and the housing space into this sustainable space with bells on and celebrating that is what we do and what we will be doing, what we are doing. We're building green communities in New Zealand, green communities in Australia. That we're building homes to rent and homes to sell in Australia, and we can't build them fast enough. Now, I know that I appreciate that some people say, oh, well, that's Australia, it's on the other side of the world. Well, that's New Zealand. We do it differently here. Let me just address that for a minute. That's exactly what I thought before I went to the US in 2017. They'll do it differently over there. Someone will be doing it. I can tell you the consumers want exactly the same thing as they want on this side of the world. The process of building a home is exactly the same. The only thing that's different is the designs for different locations are different, like it is in the US. You build a different style of home in Arizona as you do in upstate New York. That's the style of the home. It's not the actual process. It's not the actual outcome of the designs. It's not the actual outcome or process of the building itself. It's the same in Australia. It's the same in New Zealand, and we're selling them quicker than we can build them. Our investment strategy in the US is to build and hold for the rental market and build show homes as benchmarks or display homes or model homes. There's different terms in different parts of America of those homes. But look, a model home is a home that a builder builds, operates out of that model home as an example of the work that they can do. They rent that back for a premium over a 3-year period, and then the home can go onto the rental market or be sold. So that's really what the investment fund is for: the green community investment, green homes in community, and model homes. That's what we specialize. That's the only thing that we do. So we don't do anything else. We're not investing in products. We're not manufacturing. We're not developers. We're not buying land. We just build green homes. That's what we do, and we do it better than anyone else in the world. The fact that there isn't many people doing it, it's just that's by the by. We're the leaders in that space.
And the fact you're builder of the year makes you the
Well,
top of
yeah,
the very
that's
top.
what they said. First time that's been won by a non-American builder, which was which was a unique opportunity
That's great. So again,
and a privilege, I must add.
for the new ones here on the webinar, if you have a question, you can put them in the Q&A part of the Zoom, not on the chat because you won't be able to use the chat. You will be able to use the Q&A though. So click that and put your questions on there. And then lastly, Mick, the question that I have is how does green homes address the critical shortage then of sustainable and energy efficient housing in the US?
The short answer is by building more. So we've got an interesting opportunity where we've got developers that want to build these homes and build these communities, and we've got a shortage, a housing shortage across the US. Interest rates will go up and down, they'll cycle. Property values will go up and down, but over a period of time, they always go one way. And you need to, I'm not an investor coach. I'm not a licensed. I'm just here to tell you about green homes. But if you look at property, and the cycle of property investment, you need to make your own decisions on how that works and whether that's the right fit for you. But what I can tell you is that how we will address, or we are addressing, the property shortage is by bringing to the market these green homes, energy efficient, carbon free, energy neutral homes, and there's just none available. And as quick as they come on the market, they're sold or they're tenanted. So if we're the only builder building that niche market, and as investors, you go out and you do some quick Google searches on what's available and what people want and what the industry wants. If you just simply type into Google today, what are I hate this word, the trends, what are the trends for builders 2024, 2025, you'll find 5 things in the top 10 that are around sustainability. 5 years ago, that didn't exist. Sustainability wasn't even mentioned. So we've got an industry and a consumer base across the US that want this product, and we just haven't got. There is just no product. So that's where the opportunity is. I'm coming to the market saying, let's build a fund, which we've done, fully licensed and registered. Let's get a fund and build these homes so we can build them en masse, and that's what we're doing.
That's amazing, Mick. So those are my questions for this webinar, really. So the next thing we can do is answer some of the questions that have been added on the
Please.
Q&A. So the first one is this, I think this is for me. Will this call be available for replay? Yes, we will make sure this call will be available for replay for everyone on this call, and then maybe those that for the people who are interested in green homes to watch. And then another question, Mick, is the only way to participate via funding? Is there any other way they can participate with the
Um,
passion that you have for green homes?
I'm not sure how to answer that question. There's probably lots of ways that we can partner with people. Really, this webinar is about investment, but we've got business opportunities and all sorts of opportunities available. But this webinar is about property investment and our investment fund. But I'm happy to answer questions and steer knowledge to help people if they're not in a position to invest.
Yeah. So if you're not in the position to invest, anonymous attendee, you don't have a name, you can reach out to Mick via the links that I've sent on the chat, the email, the calendar link, and if you can have a moment to check on their website as well, it's on the chat as well. And then another question, Mick, from the same person, are there multifamily possibilities? Oh, Wayman. Hi,
Absolutely.
Wayman. Are there multifamily
Absolutely.
possibilities from
Yep.
Wayman?
We're working with a couple of developers that want high density or medium density homes. In New Zealand, it's quite popular. We've done a lot in Auckland and a lot in Christchurch, where we've got 90 high density dwellings. We just released in Christchurch a month ago the first 15 of 90 high density homes. The first 15 sold in 7 days. And the second 15 will be released on the 1st of next month. So within a couple of days, and we're predicting that the next 15 will sell just as quickly. But that's exactly what we will be doing in the US as well. Not high density, sorry, medium density, which is condominiums and townhouses.
So that's really a lot of opportunities then, not just like
Absolutely.
how, yeah. So what are the targeted markets? Another question from Wayman. What are the targeted markets for green homes usually?
Targeted market as far as people go are families. We want to create healthy living environments and sustainable living environments for families. And that ranges from a different, depending on the location and the ability, what can be built in that location. As you would be aware, as interested property people, you can't build medium density in all locations, and you can't build urban sprawl in all locations. So it depends on what the opportunities and where we need to invest our time and money.
And then another question is, are there specific metro areas you're targeting?
Yes, we're targeting Atlanta, Dallas, upstate New York, and quite a few other areas. Fargo, we've got a display home or a model home in Fargo. Fargo's the highest growth area, forecasted the highest growth area in the mid to central west over the next 5 to 10 years. We've got some model homes up there and some opportunities with some developers. So yeah, we're targeting quite a few areas.
Thank you, Wayman, for those very, very amazing questions. Do you guys have anything else on like your guys' end that you want to ask? Okay, another one. Open to DC to Richmond, VA areas. That's a question. Are you open to DC to Richmond, VA areas?
Yeah,
That
absolutely. Yep, yep,
yeah, so like all of the places in the US really, the goal is to set a green home on every state.
correct.
Is that right, Mick? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah, do you have any other questions, guys, on the attendees that we have? If not, again, you can reach out to Mick on a one-on-one call to delve deeper into this opportunity to invest, to talk about more numbers, to talk about really green homes in general and the investment opportunity. Again, Calendly is on the chat, his email is on the chat, and the website for Green Homes Builders, Green Homes Builders USA is on the chat. That's ghbuildersusa.com. Again, let's wait. Oh, did you discuss minimum investment? Yes, we did. Again, Mick, if you could repeat that
Yeah,
to the
the
people.
minimum investment for the fund to enter the fund is 100,000. So I have got a question already on that, which I'll go back to that person privately. But yeah, the fund's been licensed and built for a minimum investment of 100,000. But I'll see if I can help in any other way, guys. I'm not here. I'm here to promote obviously green homes and our investment fund and our opportunity and what we're doing across the US. But I'm happy to share information with anyone that might be not quite interested in the investment fund. I'm happy to share opportunities and share information that will help all of you move forward into a more sustainable investment future. But yeah, look, we're changing the industry there, building benchmark communities and benchmark homes. And I invite you to be consider it and come and be a part of it and do something great. Let's do something good for the communities, good for the environment, good for the tenants, good for the inhabitants. This isn't a trend. It's not a new thing. It's just we've been able to put it together in something in a way that's affordable and fully certified.
So yeah, again, that's 100K minimum, no maximum, and it's a 6-month commitment.
Correct.
Any other questions before we end the call? If there are any questions, again, the Calendly link, the email for Mick, and their website is on the chat, which you can freely visit anytime. You can freely email anytime to do a one-on-one call with Mick, CEO of Green Homes.
Thank you, Angel. Thank you, everybody. It was a pleasure presenting to you today. And I hope that you get to take away some exciting information. I look forward to talking to any of you that might be interested in more information.
There's another one here. With minimum investment return, that's a question. Again, if we're going to talk about that, on the back end, Mick will talk to you about like there would be more numbers regarding that, a spreadsheet which you can do a one-on-one talk with. We only have 9 minutes left, so that would not be enough to talk about there. And then so yeah, if you're interested, Raymond, if in talking more about that, you can book a call with Mick or email him at mick@greenhomesbuilders.com. Got it. Do we have any more questions before we end the webinar for today? Yeah, so again, thank you. Thank you guys for joining us, Mick, and the attendees of this webinar, and really delving deeper into what green homes can do, not just for our investment, for our savings, for our money, but more so on the environment. So thank you guys. Thank you, Mick. Any last words to our attendees before we end the call?
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen to our opportunity. And like I said, just shoot me an email. I'm happy to share my knowledge. And if it's the right fit for you, fantastic. If I can help you in any other way, just shoot me an email. I'm happy to help.
Thank you, Mick. Again, that's Mick at greenhomesbuilders.com. Galen, the link is on the chat, and the website is also on there. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you, Angel.
Bye.